Dalton, is today a special day in the Drum household?
The glorious Wednesday.
It is apparently a very special episode for you to have your fucking flannel open for all. Dang. Just hoeing out for the followers, man.
I was supposed to change back into my Drum and Drummer shirt before we started the episode. It's on air dry right now in the dryer because it was still a little damp. I washed it earlier today. I didn't know that this is gonna be our
You didn't know. We've been talking about this episode.
I know.
For the big news that our producer had for us. He said, be ready for episode 100.
Episode 100. David, before we start this podcast, go ahead and tell us this big news you got for us.
I quit.
Told you.
No. I will never remember what I was supposed to tell you.
Well, if you have been here from the first week
or last week
and you've made it through a majority of the episodes
or the week before.
Yeah.
Or you've been here for any amount of time, we really, really do appreciate you. And thanks for sticking with us.
Thanks for hanging around, guys.
All the madness and absolute chaos. And for making it through week 3. I feel like we should send out a badge for everybody who did that.
Who actually sat the whole episode.
That'd be some good merch.
Made it. I survived episode 3.
Was that it? Was it that we have like... Well, I mean, we've had it, but we have like the possibility for another line of merch.
Possibly, that is possible. You know, we're gonna talk about that, but first, we're gonna throw it all the way back to the intro that when I first heard it, I couldn't help but feel very professional. So, David, why don't you roll that intro?
Roll that intro.
I'm Drum.
I'm Drummer. God, what an intro.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Week 100.
Week 100, guys. That's 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 24 plus 1. 100. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, thank God. I was going on a whim there.
You're always good until you get like fancy. Like there's always simple math ways to get to the number, but then I see you get bored and then you do something wild and then I see the panic in your eyes when you're like
the immediate regret of
oh
like,
no, this is going wrong.
I forgot I can't count, you know.
And as always, we're your hosts. I'm Drum.
And I'm Drummer.
And this is a podcast about brotherhood and the 3 S's. Storytelling,
the supernatural,
and self-improvement. But for October, the S's have changed. It's spooky,
Satan,
and skeletons.
Oh my.
One of those is not like the other.
Wow. 100 episodes.
Bro.
100.
Technically 100.5.
We're at 100.
You know what I mean? But yeah. I won't ruin it. I won't take this from anybody.
Don't take this from us. This is very important.
Dude, 100 weeks of this shit.
This kind of feels like our first birthday. You know?
No.
Like
we did have a 1 year episode.
100 is just such a nice number.
Yeah.
It is a nice number.
It's very nice to look at. You know what is nicer, though? 250.
Why is that?
I just feel like the letters look good together, or the numbers look good together. Like 2, 5, and 0. It just looks like it would all go as in like 1.
What about like 777?
777 be dope. That's a whole lot of episodes.
That's a lot.
The question is, okay, we didn't think. I'm gonna say this. We didn't think we had enough to talk about for more than 2 episodes at a time, right?
Did we?
No.
We went into every podcast not prepared and being like, "Fuck, I'm gonna fix that next week," and then not fixing it the next week for 100 weeks.
I feel personally attacked.
Well, let's
But
go.
yeah, I mean,
back to
it's all our fault.
Like the first 10 episodes. Like, I was still in college. You know what I mean? Like, I remember I'd be driving to school.
It's been 2 years.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
It has.
We started right when I started working my new job.
Yeah, because I remember we would record the episode, and then the next morning I would get up and I'd be driving, and then I would immediately call David, and I'd be like, hey dude, and I'd be telling him kind of like what I thought about it, get some feedback and some critiques and this and that. And then Dalton found out that we were doing that, and then got really mad because we were having business meetings without David or without Dalton.
Yeah, it was fucked up because I wanted to be part of everything. It was the first time we were all a team. We're all working together. And then you guys decided to just leave me out of conversations
Do you
that are
think
going to be changing the podcast forever.
Do you think that our lives were not on the same team? It's me and David versus you?
That's what it felt like.
That's right. It was pretty early on because that halfway episode was 19 and a half.
Yeah.
Really?
And then we had to have our production meeting to figure out what we were going to do.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about our production meetings? Matthew, what did our production meetings really consist of?
I mean, it was really like we would sit down with food and talk about what was going well and what wasn't and how we could change it and what we wanted to do better. But it was more of like, it would really be the first 15 minutes would be that conversation, and the rest of the time. And then it'd be like, you know what? Yeah, we're all on the same page, but for whatever reason, we needed to intentionally sit down to discuss it.
And
then we just
talked.
talk for the rest of the 4 hours of our meeting or whatever.
It would, honestly, those would probably make the best podcasts. You know?
I don't know about that.
Wow, I feel like we've had some really good conversations on there.
We've had some very good conversations, not even just like on production meetings, but just on this podcast. My favorite thing though is week 1, and I've kind of romanticized this, is when if you ever go back and listen to that first one, you see the birth of like our signature segment. Is it canon, bro? You know, like you hear me or somebody be like, oh, that should be like our segment. Like, is it canon? We just determine if things are real or not.
Yep.
You know, and then it
crazy?
kind of like transforms into this whole thing, you know. The fact that we have followers on TikTok blows my mind, and listeners that we've never met still feels very fucking weird.
What's
like,
up, fam?
Like it's wild to me, you know.
Yeah.
I still, it's surreal. It's crazy.
It is crazy. I think it's been such a fun experience just figuring out that, like, you know, hey, we are pretty interesting sometimes if we want to be, and other days we can't be interesting for this to save our lives.
Yeah, and
a lot of hard
don't
podcasts.
We don't really put on a front either.
No.
You know, like you can tell if we're tired. You can tell if we're, you know, one of us is mad at the other. Like, it's not really that hard to see. You know,
I feel like it's pretty easy, pretty noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time hiding that.
Yeah, me too.
So you don't think there's much of a difference between the dynamics of recording between the beginning and to now?
I think the biggest difference is us doing this, the whole setup.
Yeah, I think like setting up adds to the process of it all. Like, I think, you know, a couple weeks ago when we only had the audio, like it was easy. Sit down, plug in, and go.
A couple weeks ago, 50 episodes ago.
No, with Monique.
Oh, right. When you did the extra one.
Yeah.
Like that was a fun episode.
You know, but it was easier. So this is like a lot more of like having to set everything up, and even this, you know, I mean, just watching Dalton set it all up by himself and slaving away for hours on end doesn't really look that bad. But, you know, it's different because it, like, the camera does make me, especially at first, like I felt like I needed to like watch myself, but I feel like I'm kind of used to it now. So I just kind of
I don't even look at it anymore.
Well, I mean, that's the same. I feel like that's the same process throughout all of it. When we started
on the
recording
couch.
it all,
Yeah.
you're like, you don't know how to get comfortable with it.
Yeah, you don't know how to get comfortable with it. It took us a while, and we still have days where we're bad at it, where we'll talk over one another like really bad, you know. That I remember that being a big, you know, talking point of like, let each other finish our thoughts, but we all get so excited about something and we just start blurting things out. So, like, you know, that's something that we had to, you know, definitely work on.
Mainly for Matthew. I had to really start telling him to stop.
Not everybody needs to know your thoughts.
I think the hardest thing, and like, you learn so much about the other person, and I realized how much Matthew doesn't like being interrupted. Because Matthew will be talking. And I'm like, I had to have a sit-down conversation with him by like episode 20. And I had to be like, bro, like, it's a podcast. Like, it's not just you talking. Like, you got to give me a breath or something so I can jump into the conversation. Because I don't want to watch you talk for 15 minutes and then look at me and be like, what do you got? Because all the thoughts I had the whole time are gone. They're there for the moment and they leave. So like you need to give me like a breath or something where I can just chime in just a tidbit. You know what I mean? I don't need much, but you would go on rants.
Yeah, I can talk for a while.
You would like rants.
You both go on rants.
Yes, it's it's very very even. But Matthew will interrupt and I'll just like get distracted and listen. I will interrupt Matthew and he'll like look at me like he's like I did something wrong. Like no bitch, shut the fuck up.
No, but you have a knack for like interrupting me and then asking me for the point I'm about to make. Like if you had held off for 2 seconds, I would be there. And then it would be like, well, what about this? And I'm like, it gave me literally as my next thought. Like the breath that I took was to answer the question that you had.
I'm sorry.
One thing that we haven't gotten better at is cleaning our nose to not have nose whistles. I still whistle when I say my S's sometimes.
No, I think the big difference is I stopped caring about those.
Oh, you used to edit them out?
Hey, man.
My editing process.
Feel free to care again.
I would like it.
My editing process used to take like 3 hours because I would sit there.
And now you just don't care.
I would sit there and like go through and like listen. And every time I heard like a I would be like, all right, let me cut that out. Any weird pause I would take out. And now I'm like, all right, what sounds inappropriate? And I'll take that out. Otherwise, I'm leaving it all in.
Yeah.
But that actually, I mean, I can't do that anymore with recording.
Yeah. Well, also, I think we've just gotten better overall at the flow of everything.
That too.
And I think that I realized that with Monique. You know what I mean? Where it was just kind of like we sat down to do our thing and it became a conversation. Dalton and I kind of have our roles and we kind of know, when to chime in and when to speak. Like it's kind of, I don't want to say routine because every episode's very different. But
it's kind of like Matthew talks and I just wait.
Shut the
That's our
up.
routine. That's how we have conversations. Just chime in when I can.
But probably one of the more surreal moments is when we blew up on TikTok for the first time. We started getting all that
Christmas
attention.
Day.
Dude, almost a year.
Yeah.
Was it on? It was, yeah, because Christmas Eve.
Uh-huh. And then you guys came over the next day.
Yeah.
And we drank the Grinch drinks.
No, we went to his house when we left Grandma's and Grandpa's.
Oh, that's right.
We stopped by David's parents'
your
house
to exchange gifts.
and we were standing there, and we had just crossed like 100,000 views or something, and we were like, "This is awesome.
Yeah, remember the video we made?
Thanks for 100K."
Thanks
And
for
it's like that
100K.
weird filter where we're like doing the wave.
I think it was thank you for 1,000 followers.
1,000 followers.
Yeah.
Now we're at almost 30,000 followers.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Like and then from that came like
Confidence.
Yes, absolutely.
No, you got reassurance that people think you're cute.
Yes, that's all it was. You can hug me or I'll give him a hug. Ooh, I'd like to squeeze him. And then we had someone call us like right after that and offer us a satellite radio channel deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How was that?
That was funny.
That was an interesting phone call.
That was fun to entertain.
Cool
for sure.
dude, and like just hearing what he had, but just not. This is way too fun to.
Well, at that point too, we were.
What's wrong?
No. We got that call later. We got it after like the second viral one.
What was the second viral one?
I don't know. We were.
It was during Manscaped.
It was during COVID. Because
okay.
I remember us sitting around the table when we called him, and I was here in the middle of the day.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah.
We would do random shit in the middle of the day.
Yeah, we were choreographing when COVID hit. David would show up in the middle of the day, teach me and Dalton a choreographed sword fight with wooden swords in the backyard, and then we would get it down, and then we would come in here and record. And like it was like noon. I would take my lunch to do it, and then and then we'd watch a movie or something. That was great.
It was so much fun. So I remember we would sword fight
In the backyard.
Fucking COVID, man. It put us in some weird places.
I had fun.
I loved it.
was great.
I have like 2 or 3 of those videos on my phone. I was looking at them the other day. I was cracking up.
Yeah, that's got to be the biggest difference between recording.
Did you hear
That's
what I
gotta be a big dick. David, we know.
Was having it.
Can I switch out of this shirt? I'm getting hot.
Is your shirt dry now?
I hope so.
All right, go change. Dave, me and David will have a one-on-one.
All right. What was the stupidest thing he ever did on this podcast?
The stupidest thing he ever did?
Yeah.
It's when he still does it. He like forgets the microphones in front of his fucking face. And if you listen to the podcast, you'll hear him punch his microphone multiple times. Multiple.
Uh-huh.
It bugs the hell out of me because it's the one thing that I can distinctly hear in the episode. Even if I'm not like paying attention, I'll be sitting there and I'll just hear clunk, and I'm like, God damn it, Dalton. And then sure enough, if you watch the video, you'll see me giving him a look like, bro, it's in the same spot every week.
Do you like it better with the stands or when you were holding it in your hand?
To be honest, I've had it in the stand for so long, I don't really remember.
Did you even in the couch you had it on the stand?
No,
you had
in the
it
couch I would hold it. But
Yeah.
then when we moved here, just because I needed to use the mouse for the document, I just put it in the stand. But so how do you come up with ideas and segments? Or like, what does that process look like for us? Like, how do we come up with these brilliant segments?
I don't know. We usually do it together. Well, obviously there's the first one that we all found out together. I remember that started and that was supposed to be like about pop culture.
Yeah.
That was kind of the first version of like slang trivia, you
yeah.
being old and Dalton being young. Because the very first one was Dalton talking about Star Wars stuff
I love Star Wars.
to you.
Oh, yeah.
And it just did not work.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, it came into its own. Otherwise, I don't even remember. I don't know how we come up with shit that we think is going to be interesting or funny.
I don't even know if it's interesting or funny. I think we just do it just to do it. And then everything needed
Fake ads, no. Fake ads was I think like on purpose.
Yeah.
'Cause
But
we needed-
Fake ads was David's pride and joy.
Uh-huh.
I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people understand that they broke his heart when they're like, the fake ads are like, the fake ads are
I fast
okay."
forward through them. I don't really skip them. But like, it was fun for us. Like,
it was your improv.
yeah, it was improv. And it was fun. And
And then we tried to do more improv, and Matthew was like, hey, no
Well, then
more
we
improv.
got real ads, so then it didn't make sense to have fake ads
Yeah.
anymore.
Now we don't have any ads, so
so we might come back
But we
to
have
it.
enough to talk about.
And then we did a 30-second reviews with Dalton Drum, which was really just a way to get Dalton's energy up.
Yeah.
either my energy up or my energy out.
Okay, well, hold on. If we're already here, let's play a little game called Every Segment We've Ever Done.
I'm excited.
Do you want me to tell you how many we have and then you try and guess all of them? Or do you just want to guess and then see if you can get up to them?
20?
I'm confused by the way you worded that completely.
Like you keep saying the segments and then when you're done, you'd be like, that's all of them. And then I tell you what you missed.
Oh, I have no idea what these
Or
segments are
I can
called.
tell you the number of segments that we have and you try and think of all of those.
Number first.
Number first?
Yeah.
All right. We have done 18 different segments
18.
on this show.
Jesus Christ. Okay, let's see.
18.
So,
Is it canon, bro?
Okay.
so hold on. So is it canon, bro? Is one of them.
I would hope so. I'm glad we're reassured of that. Our fucking main talking point for the past 100 episodes.
Historically inaccurate.
Historically inaccurate.
Boys room.
Boys room. Sexperts corner.
Hold on. I got to unshow these on the document. You guys are going too fast. Historically inaccurate. What was the
Now
other
I'm
one
gonna
you
miss
saw?
one. Boys room.
Boys room.
The boys' room.
Sexperts
Yes.
corner.
The Sexperts Corner.
Dalton's 30-second review.
Dalton's 30-second review.
Slang trivia with Matt
Slang
Drum.
Trivia with Matt Drum.
Fuck. Sorry.
We have more than that?
Yeah.
Did we say historically inaccurate?
You said historically inaccurate.
Oh.
Slang trivia with
Oh,
Matt
can I tell you a
Drum.
segment I just thought of?
The
No,
boys'
not yet.
room.
Okay, but I need to
Type
say
it,
it now or I'm going
type
to
it,
forget it.
type
What is
it,
it?
I'm going
type
to
it,
forget it.
type
What is it?
It's called R.L. Stein or R.L. Grime. And basically, it's
And it's
R.L.
gonna be, I'm gonna read you something, and you're gonna say if it's lyrics from Grime or if it's the children's author
If it's
R.L.
no,
Stein.
we're basically gonna say like if it's fun and cool, it's R.L. Stein, but if it's stupid, it's R.L. Grime. I just didn't think he was very good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you remember? I remember R.L. Grime.
Oh, I remember R.L. Grime.
I've
never
never
forget
heard
that
of
night.
Grime.
Um,
All right, you've gotten 5, 6. You've gotten 6 so far.
6. So we have 12. We have 12 more segments.
12 more segments.
Did we say fake ads already?
Yeah. Okay. So there's fake ads.
Book review.
Oh yeah.
Almost. It's under a different name.
Book of the month. Book of the week.
Book club.
Book club.
We did one book and we did 3 chapters.
Because Dalton didn't like it because David would come over and be like, go to your room and read. And he felt like he was a kid again.
I hated it so much. And I was like, I can't do this, David. I can't. I don't like this at all.
I forgot about that. That show was so funny.
That's as far as we got. Is it Cannon Bro is still around? The Sexperts Corner has just evolved
To
into
the boys'
room because people wouldn't listen to the Sexperts Corner. They would skip it.
They would
because
skip
was
it.
Inappropriate.
And too vulgar.
It was a great intro though.
It was.
I love that intro.
Fake ad still pops up every once in a while. Slang trivia still we still do. Historically inaccurate we still do.
Damn, what's another one? Oh no, we said slang trivia. There's another one with it's focused towards me.
This is nice though because everyone is probably yelling, being like, "What about this one? What about
I
this
have
one?"
no idea.
I hope so. Everyone's like, these idiots have too many. I have no fucking idea. I'm surprised we didn't have anything like video game related.
Yeah, we should talk about video games more.
I could always talk about video games. I don't know. Do you have any more? I can't think of any.
I can't think of anything.
You give up?
How many
Yeah.
did we get?
You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh,
Oh, that's not bad.
8
gotta
of
get-
18.
we gotta get
Oh.
one more.
Less
we
than half.
We gotta get one more.
There's some that we still do that you haven't hit on.
We still do. I don't know.
Something with a lyric.
One of them has a theme song.
All of them have theme songs. Dalton always makes theme songs. I don't know.
Can't remember.
All right, let's hear them.
All right. So here's the next one. Fun.
Fun facts of listeners' towns. 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 Because it's fun facts of listeners' towns.
That's a good one.
I like that theme song.
I forgot about that one.
It is a good one. It's a hit or miss segment, but
For
it's,
sure.
It's and that one actually has a spin-off segment too that I ended up making its own thing because we've done it more than once.
All right, what's the next one?
You want to know the spin-off one?
Yeah.
Listener's Town or Fictional
Skyrim.
City.
Oh, that's right.
That was a fun one.
We need to do more of those.
We do need to do more of
Because
those.
I'm really bad at geography, so I'm always wrong.
All right, you ready for another one?
Yes.
That I feel like a lot of people probably know that you guys didn't remember. 99.
99-cent advice.
Oh, that's such a good one.
That one is a great one. We still have a ton of those to do too.
That is a good one.
Here's one
We should do that one more often.
Well, we just keep rotating. We keep thinking of more and more. Here's one that got exactly one instance on the entire podcast. Matt Drum responds to people who know better than him.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, don't we have a Michael Scott one?
That was the Michael
That was the
Scott
Michael
one.
Scott
Oh,
one.
that was funny.
All right, the next one is called Headlines. And it shows on our doc that we've done it twice.
Twice?
Yes.
What do we do in headlines?
I don't know. I think you read Dalton headlines and he had to like
He had to
create the
explain
whole
what they were?
story.
Oh,
What the
yeah.
fuck?
I did come up with that one.
Another one, it was a temporary. Well, I mean, it still technically could be one, and maybe not the most sensitive. It's called
Oh, no.
Corona Ketchup.
Oh, I forgot about that. So that was like...
catch up on how we're all vibing with the
Yep.
coronavirus.
Yeah, that was like when it started. We like... Nothing was really changing for us, so we never didn't even talk about it. So we're like, how bad is this virus getting?
Let's talk.
Oh, man. What a strange time to have a podcast.
Oh man.
One that that also I think transformed a little bit. Real life D&D.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Good idea. I did not know how to execute it.
Yeah.
So it ended up usually going for too long.
Yeah.
Another one that was a big hit that you guys still want to do more of. Deep dive. That was Ben Drowned.
Yeah. That was fucked.
Yeah.
Taking it was basically then the evolved version of book club.
Yeah.
It was just taking a creepypasta and then
Yeah.
turning it into a
Creepypastas.
multi-week
Creepypastas
thing.
are creepy.
They're
Oh.
pretty pastas right now.
And then another one that was solid and just lacked commitment. Monthly challenges.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Those were hard.
And then the final one
I
that
feel like there's a lot of things that we failed at.
most of them have evolved, to be fair.
Maybe.
And then the last one that we've done a couple times is You Laugh, You Lose. And it's hard to do that one because it's funny. But when you guys don't laugh at each other,
It just doesn't hit.
no, it just looks like you guys just get angry at each other.
No.
Yeah, I
Because
get
you're
pretty
like-
mad.
You're like, it was funny. Laugh, bitch.
Yeah.
That's fun. That I like that.
So which of these is your favorite and your least favorite?
I enjoy the boys' room.
The boys' room?
My favorite is actually probably Go Up, Matthew. It's probably historically inaccurate.
Really?
I enjoy that segment just because I like just imagining what the fuck is going on that's not actually happening.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Except for the one episode where I said, "Oh, I know what happened," and then he got really mad that I was going to be historically accurate in a segment called "Historically Inaccurate."
Yes, you were following the directions, man.
Yeah. What about you? Which one's your favorite?
Mine?
I already
Oh,
know what
man.
it is. It's fake ads. That's David's baby.
I
I don't think people understand
it
how
was.
much David wanted it to
you
work.
You guys had a lot of fun with it.
That was fun.
I like that one. I like 99 Cent Advice.
Yeah.
It's like a different version of the boys' room.
Yeah.
And I don't know, most of these I made up, so I'm pretty proud of all of them.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys remember anything that we talked about throughout our episodes that like it still sticks with you? Like, is there any segments or any like weird ass conversations we had on the podcast that like stick out to you?
I feel like it wouldn't be in my mind directly because that's not how I work. But if I go through the doc and I read some of the things like on like past episodes,
Or some of the things that we wrote?
yeah, or just like because we have all our topics and then we just move it down. We don't delete them.
Yeah.
So if I went through that and I like saw something,
to
I'd
a
be like,
random
"Oh
episode.
man, you remember this?" Okay, pick a number between 1 and 100.
37.
So in week 37,
That's a very random number. I was.
I'm a random person.
we talked about that was the start of book club.
Okay.
We talked a lot about video games. We talked about Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima.
That's. I mean, 37. That was during.
And that was the whole time. That was the time we talked about if they're viable educational sources
Oh.
to like learn, because we talked about Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Oh, and then didn't we talk about how like Assassin's Creed taught this kid?
Oh, how
the
to run
streets.
through the France?
Yeah, and then he got lost and was able to like find his way back to like
Yeah.
the town square or whatever.
It might have
Yeah.
been Italy or France, one of those two.
Yeah.
36 is actually the conversation that you mentioned a couple weeks ago with the human aura
Oh yeah.
from Hunter Hunter.
Yeah.
Nen.
Nah.
Nen.
And then 38 is when you graduated.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy to me to like that we can go back and like if we think about where we were at even week 38, like we were all at such different points of our lives. Like David was with a completely different company. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you and Rachel weren't living together.
Mhm.
Like it's like vastly different, which I know sounds obvious of like, yeah, well no shit, Matt, like you grow up, you do things, you know, like life changes, but
Yeah.
there's like a timeline. You know what I mean? That like at any point in time you can go back and like I can remember exactly where I was at that time, how happy I was to fucking finally be done with school and you know all that stuff. It's cool.
You know, it was a good conversation. The woman who was a maid and then worked in the hotel.
Oh, I just thought about this the other day.
And then,
Oh, and she like
She,
dropped
like,
that
she-
load in herself?
Yeah, and then she got pregnant, and then
Yeah.
the judge freaking like gave her whatever she wanted.
Yeah, see, that's crazy.
I need nails.
Hey, have you ever seen David's nails? You ever seen them?
No, because they're always bitten off.
They're fucking bitten off. They're like the edges, dude. It's like you don't have nails because you fucking chew it off, bro.
But what I don't get, like when you clip your nails like too far and then
Yeah.
you push on it and it hurts. Do your fingers always feel like that?
Yeah.
Oh my god! you
Not
live that way?
always. Not always.
God,
not
I don't know
always.
how, bro.
Just probably like 30% of hey, people live with like back pain and arthritis and shit. This is my arthritis.
I appreciate you not saying knee pain because I would have understood.
So I changed the battery and they made fun of me because it took too long because my nails weren't grown in.
He had to open up a little compartment, but he couldn't because of his nails.
But yeah, I mean, all that stuff. Like, there's so much we can pull.
So one last thing before I assume we're jumping to a break. You have a part here that says satisfying audiences versus satisfying ourselves. What do you mean?
Like keeping on with segments that we just didn't like or we didn't think, or just needing to. I feel like it was always like when coming with topics, it was like, what the heck do we talk about stuff that we want, or should we be doing stuff that people are seeming to enjoy on TikTok or on Instagram or whatever?
Yeah, I think,
or like, we can see our audience, we can see our demographics.
Yeah.
And I was like, should we be holding off on stuff that demo may not want to hear?
I feel like we've always, like, even in the very first episode, like, we say we do this because life gets busy and we want to spend time together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though, especially I feel like the last month and a half, it's been very hard to get together and do this. There's been a lot of moving around, and our energies have been low just because all three of us have a lot going on.
Exhausting.
But I stand by that. Like, I do think that, like, life does get busy, and you guys both mean a lot to me, and I enjoy spending time with you, and you guys are people I want to grow old with and experience life with. And, like, if this becomes the designated way that we get to hang out once a week, then fuck it. Like, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So because of that, I think that we authentically should just talk about what we would normally talk about, and if we cater more towards, we find the segments that work, that we enjoy, that people enjoy listening to, then yeah, like, go for it. But I've never wanted to, like Travis Barker and Kardashian,
Courtney.
They just got
Megan
engaged.
Fox.
No, Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly. Although that's a good story.
That's
Did you
fucking
see
hilarious.
that?
I am weed.
Oh yeah.
You smell like weed.
I am weed. And you're like that. That's just somebody who's really high. Like, if I was really high, I would say that. Like, that guy was fucking baked.
But, like, what I'm saying is that, like, personally, I'm happy for them. I just hope that they're happy. But I wouldn't want to sit here and have a discussion about how
I give two fucks.
You know what I mean? So, like, but I know people, like, that's a big topic right now. Like, that's clickbait headline. We will get a lot more views and listens, but that's just not us.
I feel like we get the same amount of clicks and listens if we put Dalton's 30-second review on there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's clearly just as
To
popular.
be fair, I would put it in there and then we talk about it for a minute or two, and then I'd put that in the headline.
That is true.
I don't know. I've gone through a whole evolution of figuring out how to market this podcast.
How did you go about, David, like, learning how to produce and figuring out the editing style that you wanted to do?
What's that podcast? Heath and
There was Heath and Zane and Heath and Filtered. There was David Dobrik's views. But
in the very beginning, it was more of like Zane and Heath, because you and I listened to them a lot.
Yeah.
So it kind of like naturally, because we both listened to it, it would form to that. But then, like, I kind of stopped really when the pandemic hit and I wasn't driving as much. And then just kind of like,
as far as my style, I don't know. Like, again, at the beginning, it was just, let's make it sound good.
yeah,
Let's take everything out that doesn't need to be in there. Let's make it sound like fast and bright. And then, but we always went over, like, we said an hour, and then we consistently went over.
absolutely.
And then
Still
for a
doing
while,
that.
I was like, I don't care. Let's keep going. And then we would go for almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
And now I feel like we hit a sweet spot where an hour still seems good, but like we usually hit 1 to 120.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, I know that most of the time, whatever I bring here is not going to go. So that's probably why I don't do it as much, but I'll still like try and find shit that at least I think is interesting or that you guys will have
stuff to
fun with.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
for sure.
I think you do a good job with that.
thank you.
Hey, we appreciate you.
I'm glad to be part of the behind the scenes of this podcast. For
You
you
didn't
guys.
have to be.
This guy.
I didn't have to be.
I just want you to know he thinks it's fucking. He watched last week's episode when he said he wasn't a part of the podcast, and he thinks it's hilarious to see how bothered we actually were.
It was really funny. You guys got really.
It's
angry.
not funny, David.
It's
I don't
fucking
find
annoying.
it funny.
You guys, we got some stats for you.
All right, stats. Let's do it.
Drum and Drummer. The podcast that we didn't know how to describe to anyone.
We still don't, to be honest.
For about 30 weeks. It took us like 30, 40 weeks to really come up with this whole podcast about brotherhood and the 3 S's.
Amen.
Supernatural.
Um,
I don't have the other one.
It took us 90 weeks to create a call-in line. And so we have been played 16,824 times.
Wow.
Over 99 episodes. That many times has our stuff been streamed.
Thanks, guys.
And we really took off in, let's see, March of 2021.
Huh.
We had a couple spikes in November and then in December. But the people, when we broke big on TikTok that first time, it didn't really do much for us.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the period TikTok took off. That's when we blew up.
The one that we talked about it as if it was a period, but your question wasn't even about that.
The period pains.
No, you were talking about labor pains.
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, yeah.
If you put on those things and then I
It simulates
assumed
labor pain.
I assumed that it meant a period.
Yeah.
And I just we went off.
Uh-huh.
We didn't even answer the question.
We took it a completely different way. We're like, fuck that. No, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I still wouldn't want to have a baby.
Oh, absolutely not.
But like,
I don't want a baby. I don't want to have periods. Either of them.
no, imagine.
Yeah. I think I was talking about both. I don't know. Because I think I also addressed having a child in that video.
Probably.
Just bouncing between the two.
But that was when I think the people who were seeing that TikTok, one, knew it was a podcast, and two, were of the age range
To actually come and listen.
to listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Because the first one we went crazy on was the Christmas one, and it was all moms.
Yep.
And all like
Single mothers that wanted to date my brother.
exactly. Who was all about it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, man.
So let's see. Yeah, period pain, and then the next big one we got, the one that truly blew us up, or truly blew up, and that's the one that corresponds to this, is the cure to lactose intolerance.
Oh.
When Dalton was scared beyond belief of becoming the lactose intolerant guy.
Guess what happened, David?
What happened?
That video has 3.5 million views, and I'm now considered the lactose intolerance guy.
We still get
I had
comments on it.
Yes, it still gets likes.
Good.
No, David. I told you I didn't want to put that up for that reason. You went, it's going to do awesome.
All because of Aubrey's birthday. We went to that restaurant. You know what? We need to find the waiter that gave us that advice and just let him know how much he's changed our lives.
It
mean,
also
it works.
It's also worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
drank
that
so
would
much
be
milk that day.
that, and then we also blew up in August, but I don't know what that would have been for.
In August.
Unless that was the lactose intolerant one. No,
Or
because that was March.
was that when Dalton actually tried it? He drank it and gave the review.
No.
I don't think I posted in August. Did you post in August?
Nope. The matching one.
Oh yeah,
The matching
Oh, that
one
was
went
a good
crazy
video.
that one did do well.
when the two of you matched.
Yeah.
It's nice to see these spikes.
Yeah.
All right. Demographics. We have 52% of our listeners listen on Apple Podcasts.
Nice. Leave us a 5-star rating and review.
38% listen on Spotify,
Nice.
and then 9% listen other places. I don't know where, but they listen in other places.
YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. Yes.
I don't think it would track that. No, because
we get about 40 views.
yeah, on YouTube,
which is fine.
That's pretty dope.
It is pretty dope. 40 people are watching your faces.
Yeah.
Why?
For more than an hour.
Yeah,
every week.
we were on a TV screen last week. Somebody posted us on Instagram.
Now,
That's just how we do things.
when we first blew up, the ratio was 92% women
It was.
to 8% men.
Yep.
We are now at 62% women
Nice.
and 38% men.
Hell yeah.
Balancing it out, man.
Our biggest half of our listenership is between the ages of 23 and 27.
Perfect.
Dude, it's like
Then
That's
followed
around my age.
and mine.
then followed by 18 to 22. So
Nice.
all the people that you are giving advice to.
Good Lord.
Exactly.
Hey, you guys are gonna learn a lot. All right, just listen up. All right, listen to Papa.
You'll be all right.
You'll be all right, kid.
This podcast
It's brought to you by.
is listened in 53 countries around the world.
What the fuck?
We are literal rock stars.
No.
It is nationwide, listened in all 50 states.
Hi, we made it to Rhode Island.
We made it to Rhode Island
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and is heard in 733 cities
Wow. Shit.
all
You're
over
welcome.
the globe.
That's
Guys,
total.
we're pretty big.
That's insane, you guys.
I'm surprised people can even talk to us about how tall I am. Right now.
Are we listened by any micronations?
Daltonia is not in our list.
Fuck.
But our biggest state of which is not surprising is
It's California.
California. Second is Texas.
Nice.
That's a
And
jump.
then third ties between Florida and Illinois.
Oh, they're really fighting for it, huh?
Dang, Illinois.
But that's just the number of cities that have listened.
That's
It does not break down further into like which city has listened the most.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah. What was when we first started? There was was it Tennessee? And there was 3 cities.
And that's what we did one of our listeners' towns on.
That's how it started. It's because of Tennessee. Yeah, there was 3 cities that were too far apart where I don't think they actually knew each other. But it was our first out of California state.
And then one of them had that bridge.
Which they are still our top 5 states are California, Texas, Washington,
Nice.
Tennessee, and Florida.
Nice.
Which means those 5 states have people contain the people who've listened to the most
Yeah.
episodes.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you were one of those original listeners from Tennessee, thank you. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for joining us on our 100th episode remembrance tour. Yeah, we're going to take a break. And then the second half of this
Getting back to our spooky
is
business.
still October.
But seriously, we love you all. Thank
Love
you
you all.
so much.
Thank you for
Really.
the 100 episodes and joining us for the journey. And there might be 100 more. Depends. We all like each other.
We're going to need another production meeting. And we're back.
Wow, that
All
was
right.
spooky, wasn't it?
That was spooky.
What a spooky
So
episode
scary.
this is. Man, welcome back, guys. As you remember, I'm Drummer,
I'm Drum.
and welcome back. This is our spooky segment now. This is our 100th episode, so we had to celebrate that. But now we're gonna skirt back to our original
regularly scheduled
regularly
content.
scheduled
I think you can
podcasting.
skirt better than that.
skirt
There you
to
go.
our regularly scheduled podcasting segment. So, Matthew,
What's up, big guy?
so we were supposed to watch a movie this week
No.
You're also supposed to do a spooky event.
and a spooky
Oh
event.
shit! I forgot about that.
I know.
What were we supposed to do this week?
We were. I don't fucking know. We were so fucking busy this
Did we
weekend.
even talk about it last week?
No.
No.
I completely forgot about everything.
Yeah.
And so we did do the event, and we apologize for that. But you know what? Life happens.
Don't worry. I put the team on my back.
So
did.
we
I
were
did.
told that David wants to watch this movie called Ouija: Origin of Evil.
Or Origin of Evil.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Ouija.
Oh, Ouija.
And we were supposed to watch it together, but we've been very busy apartment hunting and all sorts of things. So we weren't able to sit down and watch it together. We were supposed to watch it last night, but Dalton and I had plans. So I sacrificed myself bright and early this morning with a cup of coffee, all my windows open, all the sunlight, and my dog, and I watched it. And let me tell you, I'm very happy that I watched it at 8 o'clock in the morning with a cup of coffee, all the windows open, as much sunlight as I could have, and my dog, because that shit was scary.
Was it really?
It was freaky. Like, it wasn't like I'm gonna sleep fine tonight.
Yeah.
But at the end, when they start to talk about, the end freaked me out, and I'll explain it.
The one that we watched, the father scene.
No
the priest. Oh, okay.
No, like when they explain what's going on.
Oh yeah.
So that was freaky. So basically, Ouija Origin of Evil, the opening scene is,
and Dalton. Okay.
Yes. So Dalton was supposed to watch it today, but he came home and just was having a day, so he didn't.
Yeah. I got new things came up.
But we watched clips from.
But
it.
we watched clips.
We did watch clips.
So Dalton's knowledge of this movie is
so really quick. Let's hear the movie from Dalton's point of view.
So this is what happens.
Yeah.
His family, new family of like 3 or 4 or whatever, go into this house. They start sleeping in this house. And then they find a Ouija board under one of the floor panels. Pull out the Ouija board. This little girl has an infatuation, right? And her dad are talking about it. And so then her dad tragically dies, and she misses her dad so much. And so her older sister and the mom all start using the Ouija board to try and talk to dad, and he doesn't work for a few days. And then on the 4th day of the 4th night, the little girl goes and tries it by herself, and she's trying to talk to him, and she's like, "Are you dad?" And he goes to yes, and it was like she was asking all these questions, it was answering all right, and then she's like, I wonder what happens if I look through this little clear thing. So she puts it to her eyes, she looks through it, and she could see all this fucking creepy ass demon. It's terrifying, but she's seeing all these creepy ass demons, but she keeps thinking she's talking to dad, but she has never seen dad. And you're like, this dumbass bitch don't know that this is clearly a demon talking to her, not dad. Like they could probably go through her memories or something, So she was very falling for it. She was an idiot. And then she brought her mom into it, and her mom started getting freaked out, but then had to, see what, tested out that if the demon really knew everything, or if it really was dad, so asked very specific questions. Like, when did I tell you my first daughter was born? And then he was like, shower. And she was like, oh my God. That is exactly where I told him.
Where she was pregnant.
Yeah.
She didn't have a baby in the shower.
Yeah. But then it's crazy because the daughter gets possessed by the demon, and then the daughter just starts eating everyone. The end.
Oh, that's right. We watched the kill count, so it showed how everyone died. That's right.
No. So, so the movie focuses on a family of 3. It's a mother and 2 daughters. One daughter is in high school. She's a sophomore, and the younger daughter is in elementary school. The family's father has just passed.
And this is in the 70s.
Like late 60s, I think.
Yeah.
Late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
The father has just passed, and the family's trying to, make enough money to pay for the house because they've been living there for a while, since the girls were born. And so the mother is a fake psychic. So the opening scene is a family in there trying to talk to their loved ones or whatever, and they go through, and the daughter of the man who's having the reading done to talk to his wife doesn't believe in it, keeps saying all this stuff, and all this like weird supernatural stuff starts happening in the house. And at one point they all look across this curtain, and you see this giant floating black mass. And they're sitting there, and they have 3 questions that are represented by 3 candles. The table's shaking every time the daughter says it's a scam and this and that. So then at one point, the ghost like reaches through the curtain as the father and daughter are looking at what they believe is their dead wife and mom. So they freak out. The old man almost has a heart attack, and they leave, but they got the closure that they wanted, right?
Good.
So then all of a sudden you find out that the black mass was the older daughter pretending to be the ghost, and then the younger daughter was the one that was sitting in this little cubby, like moving the table every time and stuff like that, right? So the way that they pitch it is the little daughter asks, like, are we a scam? Like, what does scam mean? And a scam means that you're lying to people is what the mom tells her. And then she asks her, like, is that what we're doing? And the mom plays it like, no, we're giving them closure that they need. We're doing them a good service, right? So the daughters go to school. You find out the younger daughter is getting picked on by these two boys. And then the older daughter is like, has these friends. She gets dressed up and sneaks out of her house, later that night and meets up with a boy and some friends. And then they play this Ouija board that they have in the friend's house.
Brand new game. Just released in stores.
So they open it up. They all put their hands on it, and it starts to move. And because the older daughter helps with fake psychic readings, she doesn't buy into it at all. She's like, this is fake, blah, 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 blah. So they're playing with it, and the guy that she's into asks, will, I forget her name, will the older daughter go to homecoming with me? And all of a sudden it shoots over to yes, right? So then, they all but they had been drinking, like, the house's mom's, like, liquor. The house...
What kind of liquor?
I don't know. The owner of the house comes home and catches them and calls all their parents. So they all come and get picked up.
Oh, no.
So the psychic mom comes over and yells at her or whatever. And she tells the mom, hey, we played this new game called Ouija board. I think it'd be a really good thing to add to the act. So the next day, the mom goes and buys a Ouija board and brings it. Right? So then the younger daughter comes home and sees it and asks her mom about it. And her mom's like, oh, it's a new part of the act. I got to, figure out how I'm going to get this thing to work. So then both daughters go upstairs. So you have the older daughter. She's sitting on her bed and she's doing her homework. And the younger daughter is sitting at this table looking out the window, and she's writing something down. And the mom, asks a question. And as soon as she asks the question, the mom is moving, but it cuts to the upstairs to the little girl. And every question that the mom is asking, the little girl is answering. So immediately, whatever spirit or demon is communicating through the board is speaking through the daughter, through the younger daughter, like instantaneously, right? So the older daughter the older sister's sitting there watching this happen, and she's kind of hearing her say something. She's asking, like, what are you saying? What are you saying? And you can see that the younger daughter isn't completely gone because she's answering her sister, but then the mom will ask another question. And so then, you see you see the internal battle of speaking what the voice in her head is saying and then answering her sister's question. And at one point, the younger daughter has these pieces of paper in front of her. She starts writing, like, vigorously. She starts writing something down. And then the mom takes her hands off the Ouija board, and then you see the younger daughter, like, come back to herself, like, completely, right? So, the older sister's, like, kind of weirded out or whatever, and they leave. And then the older sister starts having nightmares about having her mouth sewn shut, and the younger daughter starts acting really weird. So they come back and they get this bill that they're not going to be able to make the payment on the house, and the house is going to go. But the dad always wanted his family to grow up in that house, in that home, and all this stuff. And it's an older house, and one of the kids that's going to take the older daughter to homecoming comes over. His dad's an architect, and he says, yes, good bones in this house. My dad's an architect. He's always loved this house on this street, right? Because it's old. It doesn't get built like, it used to back in the day.
Say that again.
So the mom tells the girls, we're going to end up losing the house. They don't know what's going on. Younger daughter goes, I wish dad was here because he would know what to do. So then the older daughter says that. The younger daughter goes, well, let's go talk to him. So they go over and she puts her hands on the board because she had done this earlier to ask her dad a question, and she got an answer. She spoke to her dad. So they ask a question, and it starts to move, and they don't believe her. They think that...
This is what Dalton was talking about.
Yeah. So they don't believe her, and she's like, no. Like, look, like, sometimes you can see him. And so she picks up the triangle thing with the glass in the middle and starts to, you see her eye go through it. And she just sees a dark figure. You don't really know what it is. So anyways, so the mom, daughter leave. The daughter asks the question, like, how can we make the payment? And she like hears this voice, and it's like there's secret money from the previous owners in the basement behind the water boiler or whatever, or the water heater. So she goes downstairs and sure enough pulls out this envelope filled with cash. So they're able to make the payment. So she gives it to her mom, tells her mom, hey, dad told me where this was. So then, she's like, you can actually talk to dad through that thing, which is when she goes and the mom starts asking specific questions only the dad will know. And sure enough, the spirits that is talking through the younger daughter gives all the right answers. Like, it knows everything, right? So they start crying because they're finally able to communicate with their dad, blah, 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 blah. Then the daughter starts doing these readings for other people that come in. So she's not going to school. And they go to a Catholic school. The father of the school finds out, calls the older daughter in, asks where she's been. And the older daughter's like, oh, she's helping my mom with something. They've been doing a lot of work together. The priest is like, okay, that's fine. So, finally the younger daughter goes back to school. Now, at this point, the younger daughter is completely possessed, right? Like, just not herself.
Which you saw that clip of her getting possessed.
Yeah.
With the mouth and everything.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the mouth fucking animations were wild. Like, it hurt my jaw. Like, I felt my jaw cramping. Like, it was not fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
So the daughter goes to school. The younger daughter goes to school, right? And there's been a couple scenes at this point where you've seen these two boys pick on her. Okay. So one of these boys is there, and the daughter is like non-social now because she's completely possessed, right? She's just standing in the middle of this playground, and this boy is like, they're like calling her names or whatever. One kid lifts up his sock and has a slingshot in there. He pulls out the slingshot and grabs a rock and pulls it back, right? And he's going to let it go, and it's going to nail this little girl right in the face, like right in the back of the head, right? And he's like really close, so it probably would actually like do very bad damage. So the younger daughter turns around, stares at this kid, and you see the kid go, what? Like, he's like, you can see he's fighting something. You see the kid's hands. He turns the slingshot around to where he's now holding it in front of his face like this. And his friend's right next to him. He's like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, I'm not doing this. And the whole time the little girl is just staring at him. Like, the demon is controlling this dude's arms, making him spin it around. And then he lets go and shoots himself right in the forehead with the fucking rock.
Fuck.
Right? You just hear, and you hear him hit the floor. Everybody screams and runs away. So then that day she had to write something in class. The father of the school sees it and then calls the older sister in.
That's why the priest came
and then
in.
asks, hey, where's your sister been? Is everything okay at home? And she goes, yeah. So then somehow the father and the mom, the psychic mom, meet up for dinner for some reason. I don't really know. I can't remember what led them there. But then he asks the mom, have you been helping your daughter with homework? And she goes, a little bit. I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't good in school myself. He goes, no. It has nothing to do with like the quality of the work. When did your youngest daughter learn how to write cursive? Because we don't teach that in our school. Like, she's not of that grade yet. And so then that's the first time where the possession is taken over, so much so that her handwriting isn't even herself. So she asks the mom and the older daughter that, and then the older daughter the next day at school brings these papers from that very first scene when they first used the Ouija board, and the younger daughter is like answering questions. She starts writing down. So, but it's like in cursive and it's in Polish or something. So she asks the father, like, is there any teacher here that can translate this? So the father said there was, and somebody came over after a war or whatever, took it to her, got it translated. Comes over to the house to have a reading done about his wife that has just passed. And it's something that the mom had offered to him. Like, you have to come see it. It's really crazy. I don't know what's going on. But, come take a look at it if you would like to communicate with your wife that's moved on. So sure enough, they come over, they do a reading, and everything is spot on. He asks a question like, what's your middle name? And she says the middle name is Lynn, and all this stuff. And it's super, like, the father is just really impressed, right? So the younger daughter is downstairs, and the father and the mother and older sister go upstairs. And this is when you learn that the father was like, I asked what the middle name of my wife was, and she said it was Lynn. And she's not wrong, but that's my mother's middle name. And they were like, oh, so she's channeling your mother? And he's all, no. I was thinking the word Lynn really, really, really hard. And it was, she read my mind. Like whatever like is possessing her, like read my mind. Because then when I asked another question, I let my mind run blank. I just thought about static on a TV. She gave me a really generic answer. Right? So then you're
really going through this thing.
Yeah, the older daughter's boyfriend comes over, and the next scene,
I'm impressed.
You see him talking to
how much he knows.
Because he liked it.
You see him talking to the little girl, right? And then they're talking about something, and that's when the whole choking scene. Like, do you know what choking to death feels like? And she describes it for him in great detail. Then you go back upstairs, and the father had these pages that were written in Polish, translated. And what it was a diary. And what this diary was there was a scientist that was a part of some war that was called like the devil scientist. And basically he would run these human experiments on captured prisoners of war. And he would do these horrendous things to them, right? Run all these tests and all this stuff. So then the Americans caught him and brought him over to the U.S. in order for them to, have his research and stuff like that. But they brought it, and this is all taking place in L.A., right? So they brought him to Los Angeles, and he happened to live in that exact house. So the spirit of this devil scientist is what was possessing the daughter. So then the mom's like, well, how did they know about where I told, where I told my husband that I was pregnant? There's no way that he would have known it's in the shower. Well, the problem was that the spirits were in the house, so they heard all the conversations. And because they had been there for so long, that at least with the mom and the daughter and about the dad, it knew everything.
Yeah.
So then you see them piece it together. They're like, well, if they could hear us then, they could hear us now. And at that point, they had discovered there's a secret lab downstairs or whatever. Cuts to the little girl having the boyfriend get something out of this wall, turns around as everybody's running down because they don't hear any movement. You just see this body hanging, and it's the boyfriend. And then all hell fucking breaks loose. And the little girl would grab somebody and whisper in their ear and possess that person. Then you had the fucking pastor running around trying to kill people, right?
Fuck yeah.
And so the way that it ends up
that's a whole vibe right there.
coming down to it is the older daughter finally grabs the sister and puts her on the floor because the mom's been chained to some fucking bed or whatever.
Right on.
And the way that the spirit was killed the first time is they had to sew his mouth shut. So she takes this needle, sews her little sister's mouth shut, I think kills the sister, and then the mom is possessed now. So the mom tries to attack. No. The older sister's possessed, and the possession grabs the knife, stabs the mom, kills her mom.
Poor mom couldn't get a break.
And then the closing scene is the older sister in a psych ward talking about what's going on and what happened and coming to terms with it. But the spirit's now attached to the sister because it followed her in the psych ward. And the very last scene was fucking hilarious because the doctor's walking and then you just see her like running across the ceiling.
That's awesome.
Just like Hereditary.
It's fucking wild, dude. It was good.
That's pretty cool.
The solid movie.
Solid.
I mean, you should still watch it.
I want to watch it.
And
you
it's
have
not-
it rented.
And I can't believe I'm about to say this. It's not that long.
It's not.
It's only an hour and a half.
Yeah. Most of the movies that make you watch are like 2 hours.
And it did not feel like an hour and a half.
It's a very quick movie.
And I hate possession movies, but that one was very good.
Right?
Yes.
It's just well done. The scares are like nice and not too like jumpy and in your face.
I just like the attention to detail about the crazy scientist that came over from some war, and then you didn't know what was possessing this little girl.
Mm-hmm.
But
besides it being like some big black.
Yeah, because you see this big black, spirit thing for a while, but you don't know what it is. And then when they piece it all together, like every little detail was like intentional from the beginning.
Oh yeah,
Which I can appreciate that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
and the
So that was-
70s aesthetic was great.
Yep.
and that's a psychological horror, David.
That was the spiritual horror.
Spiritual
No,
horror.
it's a psychological here.
Oh, sorry, psychological was under the skin. Remember
So next week is
It's a classic.
the classic.
the classics. And
So
that's
this is
either
you guys get to choose. You can do the ultimate classic, The
The
Exorcist.
Exorcist.
I've seen that too many times.
I thought you said you hadn't seen it. Oh, you hadn't seen The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
Or we watched The Omen.
Omen.
That's a good one.
Right.
It's not like they're all old, so they're not really like that scary. But The Omen is like really well done.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's watch the
right
Omen.
on.
All right,
Let's rock, sock, and robots.
thank
bitch.
you. All right, we're gonna jump forward a little bit, and we're gonna do the boys' room first.
Ooh.
And it's not boys' room week, but the name of this article just screamed boys' room.
Right.
So instead of the name that it says, read it as boys.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, first let's intro this bad boy. You ready?
Welcome to
1, 2, 3. The boys' room. This week's segment, we're going to be answering the question, Dear boys, I think my boyfriend is possessed.
which is perfect.
Because
You just talked about
we just talked about
the
possession.
whole movie of possession.
Oh, they put some time into this one.
But here is so
Wow.
basically all you need to do is go down and look for the bullet points.
Dear Paul, or Dear boys, I think my boyfriend is possessed and that the thing he is possessed by is trying to hurt me or mess with me. What do I do? Signed, hiding under the bed.
Oh, hiding under the bed.
Let's see.
So right under the picture can be where you start.
Oh, perfect. Cool. So these are some different signs that have been going on to see if your boy toy is actually possessed. Number 1, different voices. A possessed person will often speak in a voice that sounds nothing like their own. Deeper, darker, and meaner are some characteristics that they normally have. Or they'll speak in a completely different language. So if your boyfriend sounds different and is speaking in Dutch, then he may be possessed. I don't know why Dutch specifically. Or if he sounds like Morgan Freeman. That's like a good sounding demon if they sound like Morgan Freeman.
I would keep the demon.
You know
around.
what I mean?
You'd keep it
Honestly,
around?
I would keep a Morgan Freeman demon around.
Just-
How would a Morgan Freeman demon sound? Or a Morgan demon sound?
Well, frankly, I am God. How's that?
That is what a demon would say.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Dom, next one.
Next one.
Different personalities. A possessed person's personality often abruptly changes. Have you seen this in his personality? I'm hoping that his attacking you is his way of messing with you. What the fuck does that mean?
There's
That
a
is-
comma there you're missing. They're both.
I can't see it from here. I have it facing him. I'm hoping that his attack. That's still worded wrong.
That is attacking you. That is messing with you.
That his attacking you, his messing with you is a change in his personality. If it isn't, then we're not looking at a demonic possession as much as we're looking at an extremely ass hattery. What?
I mean,
She's
to be-
saying that she hopes that him being an asshole is new
Like, he's
behavior.
just being an asshole.
Yes.
and not him just being a dick.
New abilities. Does your boyfriend suddenly have new skills like proficiency with weapons, the ability to defy the basic law of physics, or do calculus in his head?
Read that next one.
Supernatural knowledge. As a person transitions from boyfriend to demon spawned from hell, they may suddenly have knowledge of things, otherworldly things.
Oh God.
So if he's actually accurately predicting future events, he may be possessed.
This girl's been through some shit, man.
Yeah.
And
Dom-
last but
Dom,
not
last
least,
one.
Go ahead and read it.
the royal we. Demons are famously self-important, and when speaking to mortals, they often employ the royal we. So if the boyfriend starts referring to himself as us or we, there is more than one.
They're calling himself Legion. I'm surprised at how many times Legion is the demon or the entity that's in there.
Yep. So these are some ways to get rid of this thing if it is in there.
Now, how do you guys think these make sense? These
Yeah.
sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Dalton?
What? With the possessions? Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
Why?
I think they're very common signs. I think there's a lot more that goes into it.
Like what?
I like the speaking a different language one because you can see a lot of stuff like that on like on certain like types of like documentaries and stuff. I also think it's kind of weird how their body can change too. Their body type, they'll start to either like lose a lot of weight or gain like a lot of weight. Depends on like I guess the type of demon. But also the biggest I think is probably just a huge personality change. Just because you can talk to somebody if it's me or Matthew, like we're both very social people, but at the same time, like if we go somewhere we're not social, you're gonna notice. Someone's gonna notice that we're not running around like crazy. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's gonna be that kind of big change, including when you're in a place of comfort, your own home. That's when you're most vulnerable, and you let yourself do what you want to do. And if you're not doing those things, you know, people around you are gonna notice. You know, so I think things like that are very easy to telltale signs, for sure.
Matt?
I just those are all the ones that I would think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
The voice, personality,
I think
abilities.
the royal we is really big.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
Really? You think demons
That's true.
No,
it's definitely true.
are a group rather than a singular entity?
It could just even be just the demon and the person.
Yeah. I don't think it's like a.
Oh.
I mean, it could be a legion. I don't know, but from my perspective, it's just the demon and the person.
They speak for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Venom.
And so then a couple of ways this article says to get rid of him. Fill the bathtub with holy water and hold him in it. Pros: the demon is gone and your boyfriend is clean. Cons: demon may jump into you.
Because you're not in the holy water.
Second one:
Yeah.
force him to listen to all Nixon tapes. Pros: demon gets bored and drips out of your boyfriend. Cons: you have to listen to all the Nixon tapes. 3, it has been said that the Jonas Brothers will send demons running.
Or to the year 3000.
To the year
Send them
3000.
running to the year 3000. That was a good one.
Thank you.
And last but not least, if all else fails, make friends with the demon, then start dating the demon. And after 3 weeks, ask the demon, where do you see this going? Then the demon will flee. No, just call a father or pastor, tell it to get the hell out. So
That's funny. I like that one.
Did you grow up with any of those techniques? If you ever had to ward off spirits and demons and ghosts and stuff like that?
Not really.
No.
I mean, we know like some family members that were involved in exorcisms and stuff. But I've never seen one personally. But I have heard a lot of really like close family friends tell us stories about it, and even some really good quality videos on it, which is pretty interesting.
Wow.
But those can sometimes be a little sketchy.
yeah.
But if you go on the dark web, you can see a lot of really, really like interesting stuff that's like not even from like at least America.
Yeah.
It's some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
For us, it's always been just to, pray it away or whatever. But
No sage, no blessing.
Yeah,
I've started the sage.
sage
Yeah.
and
Or
holy
like
water.
holy water.
Yeah.
And
Sage
salt.
thing is really good. Salt thing
Salt's
works.
another one.
Salt's a good one.
Yeah. But yeah.
Putting an X of blood on your door.
And for now, our signature segment, Is It Canon, bro? Sorry, I just took it from you.
That's all right. Sweep 100, man.
You're real excited for that one. Huh?
We don't got it. We don't have it down yet, man. It's
I
fine.
think it's something both of you know, but the shadow people.
Spooky. What is the shadow people?
Wait, we should do our intro first.
Yeah, do your intro.
1, 2, 3. Is it canon, bro?
I feel like I wasn't on that one. I was like, is it canon, bro?
That's good.
All right, now the shadow people.
The shadow people. The people of shadows.
Now, Matthew, I think we've both experienced things like this.
What do you mean? What is the shadow people?
I picture just a being that is just all dark, all just pitch black.
All
But like
shadow?
how like you're like you're in a dark room, but there's like just like a darker spot.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You can like for me, sometimes my eyes will naturally go to a certain point in the room, and I just can't stop looking at it. And every time I see the same thing, and it's either like a darker area or you can visually see it. I know. Recently, it's been it's popped up a lot at work in these two specific buildings. When I open them up in the morning,
Nice.
I know where they specifically hang out, and sometimes you can see them move. I know there's one specific building where I'll drive all the way down. It's secluded from all the other ones, and I unlock it and I go in. And I turn on the light, and the light like flickers like crazy, and then it finally turns on. And every time I get out of that specific building, I get in my car because I drive to all these buildings. So I get in my car and I look, and I always see something walk by the door, and the light's still on. I leave the lights on, so I could see it walk by. And every day it does the same thing, just walks by, make sure that I go back to my car or something. But that building is a creepy one.
Have you had that confirmed by the teachers that teach in that building? Really?
Yeah,
That's the trip.
Yeah, they said there's always something there. And I was like, yeah, it always stays in that hallway. It's an older school, so
Yeah.
there's bound to have, including with that type of school, it's bound to have something happening there.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely agree with Dalton. Like this is 1000% canon. For me, it's very similar. Like I can't take my eyes off of something, and I don't really know why. It's not even necessarily an object. It's like the space before the object. It's like too filled, and I don't know what it is necessarily. And I'll like sit there staring at it, and it takes me, for as much as I've experienced in my life, it still takes me way too fucking long to like piece it together in my head. You know. I haven't really had too many experiences recently, which is I'm very grateful for. But yeah, it's always, it's like a part of the room that's darker than usual. Or you can just sense a presence. You'll catch something out of the corner of your eye, something, just moving really quick, and you like catch yourself like snapping over there and nothing's there.
And I think that type of situation happens to a lot more people than they think, but it's the urge of being like, oh, okay, it was nothing, or being like, or actually trusting your body and trusting yourself and be like, no, maybe that was something.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to disregard it and like to disregard their self-trust. But if you can actually like know your body senses something, recognize that, and actually maybe look next time, you might see something more than you bargained for. But trust your body. Your body knows what's around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is canon as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Can you catch it in something like a mirror or like a picture or something like that?
I've never
Or does
had.
it usually happen too quick because it's usually right when you open your eyes?
I mean, sometimes they'll just stay there, or I'll get closer if you notice it.
I've never had that. For me, it's always more passing. Like it never approaches me. But I've never experienced it in a mirror or something like that. Like where you're like washing your face and then you look up, like in a movie. You know what I mean? You like wash your face, you come down, you come back up. There's something there, and then you turn around and it's gone.
I have. I think it happened for weeks and weeks and weeks. It was when we lived at 721, and in that bathroom we had this big mirror in our bathroom, and I used to leave the door cracked open as I would wash my face before I went to sleep and brush my teeth. And I remember every time I would go down to spit out my toothpaste, I could see something in the corner of the thing that leads to like the little section before the hallway, like a little hallway area into the main hallway. And I would always see a big shadow there. And that was when we were having a lot of activity at the house. So I had to start brushing my teeth and stuff with the door closed, because the presence became so overwhelming that I couldn't stand to have the door open. So it was just always closed because I couldn't. It was just, that spirit was fucked up in a lot of ways, but specifically, it just was always bothering me.
That's the same one that was throughout the entire hallway. It was just like living in that hallway.
It lived in my parents' bedroom and would come out to the hallway, and then would try and go into my room. And that's when Matthew would have his fits at night, trying to fight the thing off. Yeah, it was never a dull moment at that house.
See, but that's different though, because that actually ended up being its own entity rather than just a shadow person.
Yeah.
Oh, but you were just saying that you had that experience with the mirror and everything.
Yeah. So it started as that, and then maybe it just built itself up to being an actual like legitimate energetic being that would.
It's possible.
I don't know. I don't know how demons work yet, but it's pretty fucked up. But I would say it's canon as fuck.
Hell yeah.
That's a good one.
A together canon, another together canon. Well, really quick, I'll just they are just shadowy spiritual beings of the underworld, and they're usually believed to be part of the sleep paralysis thing, but not always. And they're dark silhouettes. Usually, the straw man is a big one.
The straw man?
Yeah, that people see the most, or the hat man.
Oh, yeah.
That's like probably the most well-known shadow person. It's just a silhouette of a tall man that has a hat on. But that's not the only one. Sometimes it's just the black mask. It's also called shadow figure or black mass. Yeah. And there's a movie about it actually called The Nightmare.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's a real life. It's like a documentary kind of, but they reenact the sequences and the stories.
I don't know. Did you ever have like for like certain periods of time when you would go to sleep where like you would wake up in the living room without knowing how you got there?
No, I woke up in the bathtub one time, but actually, you know what? No, I take that back.
Because I remember us having a conversation where we were like, bro, I don't know why, but I keep waking up in a different room. And we were both doing it.
Yeah, I would wake up in front of the front door sometimes.
Mm-hmm. In front of the front? Oh yeah, I remember you telling this story. Maybe not on the podcast.
No. I would wake up in the bathtub. I did that a couple of times. I would wake up in front of the front door a handful of times.
With your hand on the door, right?
There was a couple times where my hands were on the door, but other times I was just like sitting down or something, or like laying against the wall.
This one time I woke up and it was 5:45 in the morning, and I was sitting down at the fucking dinner table, just passed out, like bent over onto the table. And I woke up and I was just, the kitchen light was on, and it was just me sitting at this table by myself at 5:45 in the morning. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like that. Like, that was really weird. And then I woke up a few times on the couch. And then one time, one time I was outside in the backyard. I was going to the garage. That one was scary because I woke up because it was so cold. The breeze hit. And it hit me in such a way that it woke me up, and I was like literally like frozen because I didn't know where the fuck I was. And that was when we took out all the lights and stuff in the back, so it was just pitch black.
Yeah, it was just black.
There was nothing out there, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
those are things that I can't explain because I wasn't stressed out or anything, but it was just the environment I was in. Kind of puts you in that type of mode.
Were you were gonna say something? You were talking about all the times you fell asleep in front of the door, and then you were gonna say something more when he said the dinner table story.
I was gonna say that's creepy. Yeah, like the dinner table would freak me the fuck out. But it might have been stress. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to discredit it. I mean, you've always sleepwalked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're right.
I didn't.
I just don't think.
But
wonder why it's so consistent.
Yeah, like, especially during that time with a lot going on, it might have just been the stress of it all, or it might have been something else. Who knows?
Yeah.
See, now that's strange because anytime I would fall asleep at your house, I would just get really bad at video games.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, because
you wouldn't want to go to sleep. You just continue playing.
He would still move his thumbs, but then you just stare at a wall the whole time.
Yeah. All right, if you made it this far into our 100th episode, If you've been here for any amount of time, thank you so much. We really do appreciate your time.
Got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit of fun.
We
So
just dabbled in the snow.
go ahead, and if you're listening to this podcast, go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you're listening to it. And if you're watching us here on YouTube, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below, the bell notification icon in the corner, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. But everybody, until next week, stay safe, stay healthy, stay spooky. I'm Drum.
And I'm Drummer.
We'll see you guys then. Bye.
Bye.
This town we call home. Everyone hail to the pumpkin song. In this town, don't we love it now? Everybody's waiting for the next surprise. Skeleton Jack might catch you in the backpack. Scream like a banshee, make you jump out of your skin. This is Halloween. Everybody scream. Please make way for a very special guy. Omen Jack is king of the pumpkin patch. Everyone hail to the pumpkin king. Now this is Halloween. This is Halloween. 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 Things everywhere. Life's no fun without a good scare. That's our job, but we're not mean. In our town of Halloween. In this town we call home. Everyone hail to the pumpkin song.
I'm really excited for our new podcast idea.